No one expected that drones, created to explore and observe the world from above, would accidentally capture scenes that send chills down anyone's spine. A strange woman appearing deep in the forest, a dark figure vanishing inside an abandoned military base, and the terrifying moment a missile tore through the skies over Kiev. Each frame is a warning that there are things out there that don't want to be seen. But now it's too late because the drones have recorded everything. Subscribe and stay calm, because what you're about to see might make you think twice before looking up at the sky or stepping outside at night. That day, YouTuber Furious Otter was testing his new drone on the edge of a desolate forest, miles away from any town. Everything was silent, almost suffocating, until the lens caught a white shape between the branches. He moved closer, and the image sharpened. A woman, her hair hanging down, crouched between the trees, her eyes wide open, staring straight at the drone. She didn't move, only tilted her head slowly, unnaturally, in a way that didn't seem human. The light bounced off her pale skin. Her thin hands scraped gently at the ground. Then, she raised one arm, as if waving, or as if signaling to someone behind her. Furious Otter panicked and pulled the drone higher into the air. But in the final few frames, another shadow appeared, faintly moving behind her. The footage ended abruptly, leaving behind heavy breathing and static noise. Viewers are still divided. Was it a real person, a ritual, or something pretending to be human? And the most terrifying question, if the drone hadn't escaped in time, what would have happened next? You are watching real footage recorded at dawn on June 17, 2025, when a Reuters journalist's drone hovered quietly over the skies of Kiev. Below, the city was still asleep. Dim lights from apartment blocks shimmered through the fog, peaceful and still. But within seconds, a streak of light from the east cut across the frame. A deafening explosion followed. The drone's camera shook violently as a Russian cruise missile slammed into the Shevchenkivsky residential district. Flames erupted, tearing through a 10-story building. Chunks of concrete and glass rained down like fire onto the streets below. Sirens wailed. People ran out from burning buildings, screaming, as black smoke curled upward, covering the capital's sky. Early reports confirmed at least 15 people dead and 99 injured, including a 62-year-old American citizen. Over 40 apartments were completely destroyed, and dozens of fires broke out across 27 locations throughout Kyiv, from Solomyansky to Darnitska. Many victims remained trapped under the rubble as rescue crews worked through the night. President Zelensky called it one of the most devastating attacks on the capital since the war began. And this footage, silent, cold, and unfiltered, stands as undeniable proof that war is no longer confined to distant battlefields. It is falling onto rooftops, neighborhoods, and into every frame of a drone camera. And now, you might want to brace yourself for this footage. The man in the video was flying his drone deep inside a forest at exactly 1 o'clock in the morning, using only an FPV headset and the faint light from the onboard camera. Around him was absolute darkness, so thick and quiet it felt alive. The only sound was the soft hum of the drone blades cutting through the still air. As the drone went deeper into the woods, the camera swept past dense branches, the flickering light making everything seem to move. The wind began to pick up. The signal started to distort. Then suddenly, a human figure appeared at the end of the path. In that instant, a dark-skinned man rushed straight toward the camera. His face lit up in the white glare, startling the operator so badly he dropped the controls. The drone tilted, the image spun wildly, and a sharp crash echoed through the darkness. The pilot later said he almost fainted when he saw that face. The entire clip lasted only a few seconds, yet it left thousands of unanswered questions. Who was he? Why was he there, in the middle of the forest at 1 a.m? Was he truly human, or something else hiding among the trees, waiting to be found? And most disturbing of all, his expression was cold, empty, and deeply unsettling. Perhaps that's why the uploader left a chilling message under the video. Do not watch this alone. And if you're still brave enough to keep exploring moments like this, subscribe now and get ready for the next story. The morning in Westminster began quietly, like any other day. The first sunlight touched the rooftops as a local news drone hovered above the neighborhood. Everything seemed normal, until a sudden flash lit up the frame, followed by a deafening explosion that ripped through the street. For a few seconds, the drone's camera shook violently. When the image stabilized, the house at the center of the frame was gone. Thick black smoke billowed from a crater, with burning debris scattered in every direction. Neighbors rushed outside in panic, screaming and trying to understand what had just happened. The horrifying scene was the result of something no one expected. Gary Pine, 59 years old, the owner of the house, had deliberately cut his gas line, causing the explosion. Flames spread to 2 nearby homes, shattering windows and triggering a second blast that shattered the last traces of calm in the neighborhood. No one could explain why he did it. Some said it was despair. Others called it madness. But from above, the drone captured everything. The red glow of the fire reflecting off half-burned walls like an open wound. It was a brutal reminder that sometimes humans can turn their own homes into hell on Earth. When the National Geographic expedition team reached an active volcano, they knew that even a single mistake could cost them their lives. But they still decided to try, sending a drone deep into the boiling heart of the crater. Inside the glowing red darkness, the drone descended. The camera shook violently as waves of heat rose, reaching thousands of degrees Fahrenheit. On the control monitor, the scientists could only gasp before the first drone melted away in an instant. But the second drone managed to send back images no one had ever seen before, revealing a stream of molten rock moving like a living creature, breathing beneath the earth. The air vibrated with a deep rumble. The red light reflected off clouds of black smoke, making the scene look like the gates of hell had opened. The scientists stood silently at the rim, sweat dripping down their faces. In that short, breathless moment, they realized something profound. Nature doesn't need to be angry to be terrifying. Its very existence is enough to make us tremble. This footage was recorded in a remote rural area, far from cell signals and streetlights, where endless farmland stretched all the way to the horizon. YouTuber Rungun Griff and his friend launched their drone, hoping to capture a peaceful sunset. But as the camera climbed higher, they froze. Below them were enormous circles, intersecting with geometric precision no human could have created with farming tools. The spirals looked like the Earth's fingerprints, perfectly even, as if carved by a laser. From about 650 feet above, the view resembled an ancient symbol, a kind of map from another realm. Viewers began to wonder if it was a sign from an extraterrestrial civilization or just an elaborate hoax by someone working under the cover of night. Some said it matched patterns they'd seen in strange dreams. Others claimed it looked identical to markings on ancient stones found in Peru. No one knows for sure, but from the air, that field no longer looked like farmland. It looked like a message, one written from somewhere far beyond human understanding. Not everyone dares to enter Fort McClellan, an old military base in Alabama left deserted for decades after rumors of failed chemical experiments. But YouTuber Chris Lamb did, completely alone, in the middle of the night. The footage shows an unsettling stillness, rusted lampposts, moss-covered walls, the wind whispering through corroded fences. No one in sight. Then, just a few seconds later, a dark, human shape appeared beside one of the lampposts, standing perfectly still, as if staring directly into the camera. Chris held his breath. In the next instant, the shadow vanished completely. There were no cuts, no effects, and nowhere for anyone to hide. When slowed down, the shadowy figure was still there, faint and smoky, yet distinctly human. Some believe it was the spirit of a U.S. soldier who once trained there. Others think it was residual electromagnetic energy from old wartime experiments. But what truly chills the viewers is the faint sound of breathing that plays right after the shadow disappears. Was it just interference, or something that still lingers in that place? It began like any calm morning at Salt Fork Park, Ohio, a forest long rumored to be home to Bigfoot. A group of tourists brought a drone to film the mist lifting over the trees. But when they reviewed the footage later, they saw something no one wanted to see. On the left side of the frame, a large, dark, fur-covered creature crouched between the trees, then slowly lifted its head to look straight at the drone. The moment lasted less than a second, but the reflection in its eyes looked far too real, far too human. The operator said he hadn't seen anything during the flight, only that the signal had briefly glitched. When the footage was reviewed, the shape became clear. Broad shoulders, long arms nearly reaching the ground. Some experts estimated its height to be over 8 feet, moving with muscle definition that couldn't be faked. What's even stranger is that this part of the forest lies 15 miles from the nearest town. No trails, no footprints, no signs of human presence. If that wasn't a person, then maybe something else had been watching them from the darkness. And as the drone rose higher, you can still see it standing there, staring up, as if it knew it was being filmed. During a routine patrol, a U.S. military Predator drone recorded something that scientists still cannot explain. On the night sky, the radar suddenly detected an unidentified object. Before the operator could react, a blinding white flash streaked across the frame, moving faster than light itself. The Predator immediately changed course, the camera spinning in a full circle to scan the area. But everything was gone. Only a fading streak remained in the sky, with no trace of heat detected. When slowed down frame by frame, experts found that the object had traveled 20 times faster than the speed of sound, yet produced no shockwave. That should be impossible, at least with human technology. Some believe it was an optical illusion, but others think it could have been our first contact with a civilization far more advanced than our own. At that moment, one thing became clear. The sky above us may no longer be a safe place. One late afternoon in Weld County, Colorado, the sky turned a deep purple gray after a thunderstorm. Lightning struck the dry grasslands, and within minutes, a massive firestorm ignited. Flames raced with the wind, devouring everything in their path. While firefighters struggled to reach the blaze, a farmer named Eric Howard did something no one else dared to do. He climbed onto his old tractor and drove straight into the inferno. His goal was clear: to carve a fire line, plowing the earth to strip away the dry grass so the flames couldn't cross into the neighboring fields. Fire surrounded him on all sides. The heat was so intense it melted paint off the tractor and nearly liquefied the tires. Yet Eric refused to stop. Every foot of ground he turned became a fragile line between life and death. From above, the drone captured the moment. A small blue speck moving through a vast ocean of fire, like a man fighting against the raw power of nature itself. When the blaze was finally contained, firefighters called him a hero. But Eric only said, "I just did what had to be done. If I hadn't, our whole field would have been gone." It was a powerful reminder that sometimes, to stand against disaster, humanity doesn't need armor or weapons, just courage and an old tractor. This is Port Lincoln, on the southern coast of Australia. Amid strong winds and rolling waves, YouTuber Simon Lawrence and his crew launched a drone over deep waters to film their morning crab traps. But instead of calm, they captured something that made the entire world hold its breath. From the dark depths below, a massive shadow began to rise. As the drone hovered lower, the shape came into focus. A great white shark, nearly 16 feet long, circling the boat as if studying the humans above. It was silent, but terrifyingly deliberate. Each slow orbit brought it closer. Its dorsal fin sliced through the surface, sunlight flashing off its cold, silver-gray skin. When it began biting at the crab cage hanging off the side of the boat, panic erupted. Simon shouted to cut the rope immediately. The team froze in fear. Only the sound of splashing water and pounding heartbeats filled the silence. Everyone knew that one full-force strike from a great white could flip the boat in seconds. To the shark, they were nothing more than fragile intruders drifting through the realm of a perfect predator. From above, the drone kept filming as the creature swam away, leaving behind white foam and rippling water. But the detail that chilled everyone came at the very end, when it turned its head and looked straight up, as if it knew it was being watched. Was this apex predator simply curious, or warning us that we were the ones trespassing? In 2016, the United States was gripped by a strange phenomenon known as the clown sightings. Hundreds of people reported seeing eerie clowns wandering near schools, supermarkets, and lonely backroads. Most dismissed it as a cruel prank, until this footage surfaced. A man from a small Midwest town was flying his drone over a cornfield spanning dozens of acres when he spotted a peculiar figure standing among the stalks. At first, he thought it was just a scarecrow, motionless in a brightly colored outfit. But then, it turned its head. Sunlight caught its hollow eyes, staring directly into the lens. A red grin stretched across its face. In a split second, the figure sprinted toward the woods, disappearing between the trees, leaving the drone trembling in midair. The clip spread quickly, compared to dozens of similar sightings that year. In some towns, schools were closed. In others, police blocked roads as fear spread through neighborhoods. People began to wonder, if this was only a prank, why did these figures always appear in isolated places, often at night, and always stare directly into the camera as if aware they were being filmed? The question still lingers. Who would choose to hide in a cornfield dressed as a clown when the entire country was already terrified by that very image? The next story takes us to Lompoc, California, a small town that seems peaceful, where quiet streets wind along a dry riverbed. YouTuber Justin Brown had heard rumors of a homeless camp nearby, so he sent his drone to investigate. But what he discovered left viewers deeply unsettled. From the air, the drone hovered over the thick brush by the river and revealed a hidden camp. Dozens of tents packed tightly together, pieced from plastic tarps and scraps of metal. At the center, A blue light blinked steadily from an unknown device like a signal beacon or transmitter. What was terrifying wasn't the camp itself, but the silence. No one moved. No voices, no footsteps, not even the rustle of fabric. Only that steady blue light pulsing in the dark, like the heartbeat of something alive. Viewers compared the scene to abandoned underground testing zones, once rumored to emit strange radio frequencies and electromagnetic interference. Others speculated it was the remains of a survivalist colony or a hidden cult. The drone circled once more, and in the final seconds, the camera caught a shadowed figure stepping out of a tent, looking straight up toward the drone, before the signal cut out completely. Since that day, Justin has never returned. Yet that same blue light, whatever it is, can still be seen flashing on nights when the moon is low. Perhaps after watching all these moments, you'll realize something. The world isn't as peaceful as we once believed. Out there, countless things are happening quietly, unseen, and sometimes right above our heads. Thank you for watching until the end. If you want to keep exploring hidden moments and eerie images no one dares to mention, subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay ready. Because in the next video, the drone might capture something even more terrifying.